Breaking news. Marjorie Taylor Greene says she's resigning from Congress effective January 5th, 2026. This is an interesting turn of events, one that I did not foresee at all, as a matter of fact.
Hi, everyone. I've always represented the common American man and woman as a member of the House of Representatives, which is why I've always been despised in Washington, D.C., and just never fit in. Americans are used by the political industrial complex of both political parties, election cycle after election cycle, in order to elect whichever side can convince Americans to hate the other side more. And the results are always the same. No matter which way the political pendulum swings, Republican or Democrat, nothing ever gets better for the common American man or woman. The debt goes higher, corporate and global interests remain Washington's sweethearts, American jobs continue to be replaced, whether it's by illegal labor or legal labor by visas or just shipped overseas. Small businesses continue to be swallowed by big corporations.
Is she like medicated? Yeah. Marjorie Taylor Greene did that. I started taking mood stabilizers and realized I no longer can be on Stan Twitter. MTG's I started taking mood stabilizers post. She's low-key locked in. Oh, God. Do you think she had a stroke and got a reverse John Fetterman? Yeah, she got on SSRIs and realized she was just realized that all this like Trump standing was actually a byproduct of her mental health complications. Yeah, she got unfettered. I'm Marjorie Taylor Greene, and after a tragic, life-changing incident at the CrossFit factory that I like to work out at, I have realized that the countryside surrounds the cities and that revolution can only come at the barrel of a gun. The People's Back movement cannot come from either bourgeois party. After all, this is a dictatorship of the bourgeoisie, and what we must do in order to unlock the true potential of the working class around the globe is to turn this into a dictatorship of the proletariat. I have sworn my life to the cause of emancipatory movements. I have sworn my life to emancipation for the global proletariat. And also I have found the light of Allah.
Americans' hard-earned tax dollars always fund foreign wars, foreign aid, and foreign interest, and the spending power of the dollar continues to decline. The average American family can no longer survive on a single breadwinner's income, as both parents have to work in order to simply survive. And today, many in my children's generation feel hopeless for their future and don't think they will ever realize the American dream. And that breaks my heart.
I am no longer blinded by electoralism and the social fascists. I have realized that the true movement is to build a vanguard, a revolutionary vanguard on the countryside and go on a long march, the longest of marches.
I ran for Congress in 2020 and have fought every single day believing that Make America Great.
She wants to go lay down with a Kong full of peanut butter in season 1 of DOC starting Billy Ray Cyrus on the PAX channel. You go, girl. That's my favorite M-HUD bit, that Marjorie Taylor Greene likes to chomp on some Kong with peanut butter. Like one of those ultra tough dog chew toys.
Great again meant America first. I have one of the most conservative voting records in Congress, defending the First Amendment, Second Amendment, unborn babies, because I believe God creates life at conception, and I love to fight for the little guy. Strong, safe borders, I have fought hard for that. I've fought against COVID tyrannical insanity and mandated mass vaccinations, and I've never voted to fund foreign wars with your hard-earned tax dollars. However, with almost 1 year into our majority, the legislature has been mostly sidelined. We endured an 8-week shutdown, wrongly, resulting in the House not working for the entire time, and we are entering campaign season, which means all courage leaves and only safe campaign re-election mode is turned on in the House of Representatives. During the longest shutdown in our nation's history, I raged against my own speaker and my own party for refusing to proactively work diligently to pass the plan to save Americans' health care and protect Americans from outrageous, overpriced, and unaffordable health insurance policies. The House should have been in session working every day to fix this disaster. But instead, America was force-fed disgusting political drama once again from both sides of the aisle on television every single day. My bills, which reflect many of President Trump's executive orders, like calling for a new census counting Americans only to draw new districts, making English the official language of the U.S., making it a felony to medically trans a minor, and other bills like eliminating capital gains taxes on the sale of your primary home and eliminating H-1B visas, just sit. They all sit collecting dust. That's how it is for most members of Congress bills. The Speaker never brings them to the floor for a vote. Many common Americans are no longer easily convinced by paid political propaganda spokespersons and consultants on TV and paid shills on social media obediently serving with cult-like conviction to force others to swallow the political party talking points. Because they know how much credit card debt they have, they know how much their bills have gone up over the past 5 years. They actually do their own grocery shopping and know food costs too much. Their rent has increasingly gone up and up. They have been outbid by corporate asset managers too many times when they put in an offer to buy a house. They have been laid off after being forced to train their visa holding replacement. The college degree they were told to earn only left them in debt with
I don't think she's blinked once is what you're saying. It's because she is. It's because she's a titan, dude. That's what it is. Marjorie Taylor Greene went from 400K net worth to 21 million net worth, and she is now cashing out. This is like a commercial asking for donations to the unethical dog breed foundations. Continue.
Your salary. They see more homeless people than ever on their own community streets. They can't afford health insurance or practically any insurance, and they just aren't stupid. These are the people I represent and love because that is who all of my family and friends are. Common Americans. I've been blessed to represent the 14th District of Georgia for 5 years. The district is filled with some of the most wonderful, kind-hearted, God-fearing, patriotic, hardworking people you will ever meet. Good, regular, common Americans. I've worked hard to bring taxpayer dollars back home to help district needs. I impeached Biden's Secretary of Homeland after watching my constituents die as he facilitated dangerous open border invasion into America. And I led the effort to defund hard left politically biased NPR and PBS and the corrupt USAID, and I did that as chair of the DOJ subcommittee. I have fought harder than almost any other elected Republican to elect Donald Trump and Republicans to power. I traveled the country for years. I spent millions of my own money. I missed precious time with my family that I can never get back. And I showed up in places like outside the New York courthouse in Collect Pond Park against a raging leftist mob as Trump faced Democrat lawfare. Meanwhile, most of the establishment Republicans who secretly hate him and who stabbed him in the back and never defended him against anything have all been welcomed in right after the election. And I will never forget the day I had to leave my mother's side as my father had brain surgery to remove cancerous tumors in order to fly to Washington, D.C. to defend President Trump and vote no against the Democrats' second impeachment in 2021. My poor father and my poor mother, it was way too much for all of us. Through it all, I never changed or went back on my campaign promises and only disagreed in a few areas, like my stance against H-1Bs replacing American jobs, AI state moratoriums, debt for life 50-year mortgage scams, standing strongly against all involvement in foreign wars, and demanding the release of the Epstein files. Other than that, my voting record has been solidly with my party and the president. Loyalty should be a two-way street, and we should be able to vote our conscience and represent our district's interests because our job title is literally representative. America first should mean America first and only Americans first, with no other foreign country ever being attached to America first in our halls of government. Standing up for American women who...
I still don't get why she's resigning, though, you know? Something tells me we haven't seen the last of Tater. No, of course not. But even then, it just doesn't make sense. Is she getting blackmailed because of her recent disagreements with Trump and Epstein? I don't fucking know. She gets into it later. She doesn't want to win her primary and then defend Trump in the midterms when Dems impeach him. She wants to save herself from an AIPAC primary. No, she's safe. She is safe. There is no world where Donald Trump could even undermine Marjorie Taylor Greene in her district. I'm fairly certain she's safe. And if anything, she's more of a threat to Trump in power when she's in that seat, winning elections, resigning instead of just retiring. LMFAO trying to f them over. I still don't understand why. I think if she wants to shit on the Republican Party, she can still do so. I will say this, okay? At least from my own personal experience and from people who I've talked to that are running for office or are in positions of power, or even like media figures in general, Israel will make your life a living hell if you are outwardly and overtly anti-Israel. Like it's not even a question. There is only one group of influence peddlers that have more motion and more intensity and more investment in making your life a living hell until the end of time. And it is absolutely the Hosberists. They do not operate with like with the same level of intensity as like other interest groups. You can be an anti-big oil guy. You can be a climate change guy. You can be anti-billionaire. They will come after you for sure, right? If you are those things, but never to the same level of fervor. I have never experienced anything like this in my 12-year career as a political commentator on the internet. Like the amount of shit that I've gotten from virtually every front. And it's never just about Israel either. Like just like with, Jamal Bowman or Cory Bush, right? When the lobby came after them, they didn't actually do it on the boundaries of like their position on Israel. They did it on whatever their area of weakness was, or whatever the most like successful avenue of attack was. They just presented them as being against the Democratic Party and the Democratic primary, that kind of stuff. Like it's achievable. You can defeat it, but you will have to deal with a metric ton of unimaginable shit forever. So it could possibly be that. I don't know. Maybe she couldn't deal with the heat. I'm just surprised though. So it could very well be her just waving the flag because she just couldn't deal with it.
Raped at 14 years old, trafficked and used by rich, powerful men should not result in me being called a traitor and threatened by the President of the United States, whom I fought for. However, while yes, hurtful, my heart remains filled with joy, my life is filled with happiness, and my true convictions remain unchanged, because my self-worth is not defined by a man, but instead by God, who created everything in existence. You see, I have never valued power, titles, or attention in spite of all the wrong assumptions about me. I do not cling to those things because they are meaningless and empty traps that hold too many people in Washington. I believe in term limits and do not think Congress should be a lifelong career or an assisted living facility. My only goal and desire has ever been to hold the Republican Party accountable for the promises it makes to the American people and put America first. And I have fought against Democrats' damaging policies like the Green New Deal, wide open, deadly, unsafe border policies, and the trans agenda on children and against women. With that has brought years of non-stop, never-ending personal attacks, death threats, lawfare, ridiculous slander and lies about me that most people could never withstand.
But even if she's gearing up for a Senate run, I don't know if this is the best move to gear up for a Senate run. You know what I mean? Saying you don't want to be there and then running to go back to DC seems like a dumb move. I mean, she's not the smartest person, let's be real, but like, I just think she's a shark that folded as soon as she got a fraction of the hate that she has sent towards people like Ilhan. That could be the case. This also doesn't do anything really to shift the House majority either. I'm actually kind of confused by this. I don't know. I mean, she did make her bag. She greatly boosted her profile. She greatly boosted her coffers. through her incredible stock trading, as is the case with all of these demons, right? Filing deadline March 6, 2026 for the governor's race. That's the only real political move. Maybe she wants to do podcasting. That could also be another thing. That is a real pivot. Like, a lot of these guys do just want to become media figures. I don't know.
Even for a single day. It has been unfair and wrong, not only to me, but especially to my family. But it's been wrong to my district as well.
She's not winning Georgia governor. I mean, I guess maybe she like tries to whip up like the anti-Trump momentum while still keeping like big bits and pieces of the MAGA base. I don't know, but I don't think any Democrat in Georgia is going to vote for Marjorie Taylor Greene over like a Democrat for governor.
Too much self-respect and dignity. I love my family way too much, and I do not want my sweet district to have to endure a hurtful and hateful primary against me by the president that we all fought for, only to fight and win my election while Republicans will likely lose the midterms, and in turn be expected to defend the president against impeachment after he hatefully dumped tens of millions of dollars against me and tried to destroy me. It's all so absurd and completely unserious. I refuse to be a battered wife, hoping it all goes away and gets better. If I am cast aside by the president and the MAGA political machine and replaced by neocons, big pharma, big tech, military-industrial war complex, foreign leaders, and the elite donor class that can never, ever relate to real Americans, then many common Americans have been cast aside and replaced as well. There is no plan to save the world or a 4D chess game being played. When common American people realize and understand that the political industrial complex of both parties is ripping this country apart, that not one elected leader like me is able to stop Washington's machine from gradually destroying our country, and instead the reality is that they, common Americans, the people, possess the real power over Washington, then I'll be here by their side to rebuild it. Until then, I'm going back to the people that I love, to live my life to the fullest as I always have, and I look forward to a new path ahead. I'll be resigning from office with my last day being January 5th, 2026, and I look forward to seeing many of you again sometime in the future. May God bless you all. And
Plan to save the world is a QAnon dog whistle. She put in an also subtle nod shading the QAnon mindset at the end of her letter. It feels like ages ago that Marjorie Taylor Greene was the first Q-adjacent congressperson elected. If I'm cast aside by MAGA and replaced by neocons, big pharma, big tech, there is no plan to save the world or insane 4D chess game being played. Wait, so she's a disillusioned QAnon wine mom? Where she's like, when I first joined Congress, I thought Q was real. I thought there was an elite Jewish pedophilic cabal and that Donald Trump was the only man to tackle it. Now I realize he is a part of the elite Jewish pedophilic cabal, and I do not believe that he has a plan to save the world. So she is a real believer. I guess this kind of goes along with the assessment that I made initially that like Marjorie Taylor Greene is not as much as a grifter as she is like a real believer. I thought that was well established. No, I mean, I said, I can't tell if this pivot that she's going through right now is a calculated move for a Senate run or if this is like a real believer going to the Capitol and realizing that like, no, there is no actual deep state, or rather what she perceived as the deep state pedophilic cabal is actually absolutely something that Donald Trump is playing ball with, you know? I don't know. I haven't found myself this confused by the actions of a politician in a long time. It's actually confusing.